have not checked in with me. I also do not have returned subpoenas for them. The state would make a motion to continue at this time. It will be our first.
Okay, when does Rule 48 run, Mr. Prosecutor?
Your Rule 48, my calculations, I believe, I have it written down on post that I can't look at it, but I do know that any setting in normal post will be sufficient.
Okay, I'm just guessing that, seeing that the date of offense is May, the earliest that would Rule 48 would come to be November.
That's correct.
And we're setting in what, October now?
September.
September. Okay. Ms. Teale, state's not ready to go today.
I would like to just raise an objection to the continuance because I did come here today prepared. I have witnesses. I have all of the evidence for my case prepared, and so I would like to raise that objection that it is an inconvenience on my time for a charge that I feel was incorrect.
Okay. All right. Usually, in cases such as this, the court gives a continuance to either side that asks for it, and since this is the first trial setting and the state could not secure its witnesses, the court is going to grant the state's request to continue. I know no over-defense objection, okay, preserve objection. We'll reset this for arraignment plea and trial in normal course, which will probably be in late September, okay?
Okay. Your Honor.
Yes.
I do also just have to note that while I very much respect your position of authority within this court, I do have to note for the record that I do not believe that this court, as a part of an illegal occupation of my country, Hawaii, has sovereign authority over me.
Okay. It's on the record, so you've noted that. Okay. Thank you.
And Your Honor,
I'm sorry, Mr. Dowd.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. If I could just clear up two things.
Yeah.
I did find the paper where my Rule 48 was noted. It's going to be October 28th, 2012.
Okay, very good. We'll set it far before then.
And also, as to a second matter, Ms. Teale informed me that she did send my office a discovery request. I don't have it in my file, but I have no reason to doubt that she did so send that, and the state will be ready to provide discovery by the end of next week.
Okay, so Ms. Teale, contact the prosecutor's office end of next week. They should have the discovery that you requested ready for you. Okay?
May I also ask that because it's my understanding that the reason that the state is unable to proceed today is because all four officers who were requested to be here, not one of them showed up. So I would like to request the names of the officers involved and their reasons for not attending today.
Mr. Prosecutor?
Yes, Your Honor. The four officers in this case who, again, subpoenas were issued by my office,
yes,
but typically when we issue subpoenas, when they come back, they'll have signatures on them if the officers personally receive them. So in for these four particular officers, I have no signatures on the subpoenas, which would lead me to the reasonable belief that they did not receive the subpoena. So I cannot opine as to the exact reason they didn't show up, other than maybe they just didn't get the subpoena.
So just the identification is sufficient.
The first officer would be Randall S. Rivera. And these four officers also appear in the discovery, which will be provided. Second officer is Nale R. Sutu. Third officer is Kiyoki K. Duarte. And fourth officer is Ross T. Furuhashi.
Okay. And Ms. Teale, prosecutors indicated that the police reports also will reveal their identity and their roles in the case, okay?
Okay, I
which will be available late next week.
That's correct, Your Honor. And there were some 252s, and again, there were witness forms filled out by some civilian witnesses. In this particular case, if we do elect to add any of those, again, all of those are provided, will be provided in the discovery.
Okay, very good. Okay, so we'll see you at the next court date then. Okay?
May I also ask that, because I don't actually know the procedures, and please forgive my newness to this process, but for making sure that my witnesses are included, and also I have some video, which I did send to your office, also on a CD, and that is included in my case.
Okay. Whatever you intend to show the court, you have to give them a copy so that they know what it is you intend to introduce as evidence, okay? And your witnesses, are they in the courtroom right now?
Yes, they are.
Okay, when's on your trial date?
September 19th,
Okay.
a Wednesday.
All of Ms. Teale's witnesses, next Wednesday, the 19th, September 19th. Please return to court here, September 19th, 2012, at 1:30 in the afternoon, okay? Because she will need you then. Okay? So the court will issue its instructions to them. And one thing I need to offer you is the services of a public defender. I can refer you to the public defender's office.
Yes, I've already spoken with the public defender's office. Unfortunately, they informed me that they would not be able, in their opinion, to adequately defend me based on, the evidence and the legal issues involved because of their own lack of resources.
Okay.
And because of that, I cannot say that it's in my best interest to be represented by someone who cannot physically fight for my rights, and also because I do appear here under duress to begin with. I feel that it is important that, since my goal all along has been to restore Pono, then I feel that it is very important that that standard be upheld to the best degree possible, and at this time I cannot say that the public defender is capable of doing that.
Do you intend to retain your own attorney?
I have not found someone. I am not very financially affluent, and I have not found an attorney because the state has not been able to provide me with an attorney that would be able to adequately represent me. I have not been able to find one who can within my means.
Okay, so do you intend to represent yourself?
At this point, if I have no other choice, then I will have to do so, but again, I have to do so under duress.
Okay, I understand. So I'll leave it up to you. If you decide to retain an attorney, bring that attorney with you at your next appearance. If you want to proceed representing yourself, the court will allow that also, okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll see you on September 19th. Hang on to your paperwork, okay? Thank you.
Your Honor, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that concludes your case calendar.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you, Mr. Dowd.
Hang on, we'll be right back when we get outside in the hallway. Okay, that was live from Portland Bay. Yeah, continued. Well,
Continue is not a bad thing.
huh?
Continue is not a bad thing.
Well, we were ready. So.
From my perspective, it's not a bad thing.
Okay. Now we are live to the internet.
What was that?
We are live to the internet at the moment.
Oh, thank you.
So.
You gotta have like a notice sign.
I know, I should put it right here. I had one actually. We'll get some reaction now from Laulani as she comes out. I have some witnesses and supporters from Occupy Honolulu. That's Andy and his 1%er outfit.
What happens is if you don't show up to court on time after a subpoena, you get a bench warrant.
That's
but
right.
cops don't have to show up to court on time,
they
and they
don't.
just get a continuance.
They don't have to show up at all,
Awesome.
apparently. Where's Lau?
I think she's talking to the prosecutor.
Oh, okay.
That is like some bullcrap. Issue a bench warrant for those cops.
That's what would happen to us.
Right.
But she did express that, she did not want this to be dropped for
Right.
several reasons of her values. And I think it's a good stand to take because if they just drop it, like she said, it wastes everyone's time to drag everyone to court. And they're just causing us a headache, and hopefully we'll just quit. So I do hope this doesn't just get dropped, because the cops won't show up or anything else. So hopefully this comes out in everyone's favor.
Yeah.
It's definitely a tactic because it was the arrest was wrong in the first place. And now, how many months later? This is
Right.
in May.
May 1st.
Right?
It was
Just
May.
dragging it on and dragging it on and dragging it on. And the reason that they do that is, because they just want to inconvenience her. They just want to bring her back to court.
It makes it more difficult.
Bring her back to court as many times as they possibly can so that she has that on her mind before the next time she decides to go protest anything. Because I know, like, when I was arrested, I couldn't get arrested at all or have any bad interactions with a cop until my court date. Otherwise, I was in violation of my bond.
Right.
But for 4 cops to not show up and to make somebody come back of limited means, that's abhorrent. There's no reason for that. So, it's just a police tactic, and for what? Apparently, you can't ask the mayor a question at a public meet and greet. That's her offense. Is asking a public official.
Well, she didn't even get a chance to ask. She actually was sitting down.
Trying to ask.
She got arrested to sit down.
I think she handled herself very well in court today, actually. The judge seemed I think the judge is a very fair judge. I hope, she sees her again. And I think she spoke really, really well and made some really good points.
She did. She made some good points, and I'm waiting for
her to come out.
Waiting for, I'm really eager to. I'm disappointed because I was eager to see the trial proceed and what they would say and that sort of thing. Oh, here she is.
Yeah, and so, what is it, 7 months after the offense? 7 months after the offense, we might have a court date.
That's right. Here she is. Oh, let's get her. So, let me get your,
Thank you, guys.
So, ooh, I got you on camera, Mike.
Amazing and extremely articulate as usual.
Thank you.
You guys are
Yeah,
awesome.
what do you? This is the post-trial.
My lunch break, so let me know anything I can do to support you, Dave or I.
Now, bombs. I could really use some bread around Sunday. And some music with ukulele.
I've been practicing.
Songs of Sovereignty is going to be also, in addition to Food Bombs, 5:30 on Sunday. There's one of the Hawaiian groups is having Songs of Sovereignty, where everyone is invited to come and learn Hawaiian national stuff and things like that. And I think John Osorio will be musically leading that on Sunday at Thomas Square at 5:30. So
Can we move you maybe in front of the courtroom sign?
Let me put my paper away before I do something unfortunate with it.
We're in district court
Is not my
in Honolulu. The trial was continued because the police didn't show up.
Yeah.
Of course, if it's us.
4 of them, it would be interesting to see what the reasons of those officers are for not showing up. That's something that I'm really kind of wondering about. It has to leave me wondering. They certainly thought that it was correct to arrest me, apparently, at the time. However, not one of them, not one of the 4, actually attended the court. And so I'm a little concerned about that. I think I'm hoping that they're all well, they're all doing okay, and that they will all have the courage that anyone, certainly anyone who carries a gun in the name of law, should be courageous enough to show up and and actually stand for what they say. And so if anyone knows any of these individuals, Randall S. Rivera, Nale R. Sutu, Keoki K. Duarte, and Ross T. Furuhashi, those are the officers who don't seem to be able to attend for some reason. And so if anyone knows those individuals, Randall, Nale, Keoki, or Ross, please let them know that it's very important that they come and that they attend and that they be part of this process of making things pono, and that they stand up for their own actions, as I do.
Thank you. Good.
And we all do.
Yeah, accountability is a big thing, and yes, they have their jobs, but what does it say if you're not accountable for your responsibilities? When they are supposed to be one of the legal authorities, right? Just authorities in general to protect the public. So,
like I said, I'm kind of curious. If you didn't show up today, they'd issue a bench warrant. Before officers and subpoenas, they get a continuance.
I kind of wonder about that too, because it seems to me that if they are absent, I'd like to know what their reason for being absent is, because it should be a very good one, and if it's not, then perhaps
this way, because the lighting, I'm getting too much backlight. Yeah, that's much better.
Need to rethink Pono. A number of those officers were Kanaka Maoli, were Hawaiian, particularly Nale. Nale, if you're watching, I'm talking to you. If you choose to do what you do, and you choose to have that job, you need to show up for court, brother. Okay, so I'll see you on September 19th. Be there.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
For Deoccupy.
That's Andy from Deoccupy. That Mike came by to lend support. Gloria, was it?
I really want to thank all of these folks too, because this trial ultimately really is about Kanawai Mamalahoi, and these guys at the Deoccupy encampment have been standing up in a very real way, day to day, for the law of the splintered paddle.
Right.
They've undergone raids, they've dealt with police, never violently, always appropriately. They've done protests. They've gone out. This person here, Andrew, went all the way out to Kea'au, Hawaii, where very few supporters actually made it out there. But he made it out there and stayed for days when he had just arrived here.
I was here on the island for 2 days.
He had just arrived, and he came out there and stayed with Mr. James Raposa, who is a cultural practitioner who was evicted in a very serious breach of Kanawai Mamalahoi. And Andrew went there to support Mr. Raposa and to stand for that true law of the land. And I just really want to thank him for that. And Michael does this every day also. And he's a true warrior. He stood up to the police numerous times, proved their hypocrisy many times at the Occupy encampment, where they tried to say that tents would have to be removed because it was blocking wheelchair access, and Michael comes in and just wheels through, and proving that the only thing blocking the access is the police, which is the very same thing that happened in my case that was on trial today. And I'd also like to thank Kamuela who has been an awesome guerrilla video warrior, and Hawaii People's Fund is helping to fund the coverage of
The
it.
whole Hui is here, actually.
Yeah, and Kamuela has been an awesome videographer, a professional videographer who's on the front lines of video all the time and has documented many abuses as well as many stories of what's really happening under this illegal occupation. And you, Doug.
The guy that nobody ever sees behind the camera.
We have a very good case here because of your video, and Andrew also, was able to provide additional recording, and so big mahalo to all the video warriors.
Yeah.
The video camera is the weapon of choice for the revolution that we are fighting today. The peaceful revolution. We don't need guns. We have a new weapon of choice that is much more powerful, and it's that one right there. So, mahalo.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Laulani. And when are we coming back?
September 19th, 1:30
September
p.m.
19th, 1:30
It's
p.m.
a Wednesday, middle of the week.
Wednesday.
So something to plan for.
And come down. It'd be interesting now that you're familiar with the area and that kind of thing. Come on down.
I don't believe that there will be another continuance. Whether the prosecution chooses to actually press the case or not is up to them. However, I would object to a null prosecution.
Oh, you know what? Let's. I'm getting mahalos from Maui to everyone. Kamuela, and you and Mike too.
Awesome.
We just went live on Occupy World News now.
All right.
So why don't you just briefly go through it one more time,
Okay.
a brief synopsis of why you're here and what happened today.
Okay. Well, I have been with these folks that are here today, many of you who are gathered today. I have been standing for Kanawai Mamalahoi, the law of the splintered paddle, which is supposed to protect the people of Hawaii from abuse, specifically by the government. It is the first law of this land. It was decreed by Kamehameha I, and it is in the Hawaii State Constitution. It's a very serious law. It says that anyone who does not uphold Kanawai Mamalahoi shall die. Now, we don't want that to happen to any individuals. However, the way that we are redirecting the energy of that law is that any government which does not uphold Kanawai Mamalahoi shall fall. And that is a very sacred law of this land. It's a prayer. It's also a human rights, a universal human rights law that was articulated in Hawaiian culture, but it is universal. And so what happened was that in the process of standing for Kanawai Mamalahoi, which we have been doing, and saw many horrendous breaches of that law, of that very sacred law, and abuse of the people. In the process of doing that, an indigenous artist named Raul Gonzalez, an internationally acclaimed, beautiful artist. Look him up, Raul Gonzalez. He's just absolutely amazing. And he was here briefly in Hawaii and wanted to do something for the Kanaka Maoli people to help our struggle. And so he painted out of his own time and with materials that we provided as a group, and that many of which he brought himself. He painted a beautiful banner of Kanawai Mamalahoi, of the law of the splintered paddle. The paint was not even dry on that banner before it was stolen by the City and County of Honolulu Department of Facilities and Maintenance. The law that they used to steal that banner requires that an item, anything they take, is supposed to have been there for 24 hours. The paint wasn't even dry. The banner wasn't even 24 hours old, and it was stored in a tent that had just been put up, that had just been brought into the area, and that tent had not been there for 24 hours.
And what?
Kalamai, I'm just waiting for just a moment.
Oh, okay.
Out of respect to Kyle, who's the very friendly prosecutor in this case, I don't want him to feel uncomfortable about hearing these things, and I'm certainly not going to accuse him of sneakily hearing this because it's readily available.
Right.
But I don't want him to be uncomfortable. So anyway, so it was in a tent, and it was being stored with another banner painted by artist Michael Daly, which read "Uamau Ke'ea o Ka'aina i Kapono" and contained the symbols of the Hawaiian government. And it should be noted that this all happened at Thomas Square. Thomas Square is the place in Honolulu where the phrase "Uamau Ke'ea o Ka'aina i Kapono" was uttered in 1843. And that phrase, for any of you out there who don't know it, that phrase means "Uamau," to continue. Ke'ea, ea is the sovereign life breath that is in all of us. Ke'ea, o Ka'aina, of the land, i Kapono, of righteousness. So, in other words, the sovereign life breath of the land will continue forever through Pono, through righteousness, through things being right, people doing right, not abusing one another, and particularly not abusing those with less power. And that was uttered by Kauikeo'uli, King Kamehameha III, in 1843, when sovereignty was proclaimed for Hawaii at that very place, at Thomas Square. So to understand how serious this is on a cultural level, on a spiritual level, on a legal level, on an international level, those things, Kanawai Mamalahoi, the law of the splintered paddle, and Uamau Ke'ea o Ka'aina i Kapono itself were stolen by the illegal city and county of Honolulu, which is, of course, part of the illegal occupation of Hawaii by the United States of America. And so those items were taken. In the interest of peace, I went a very peaceful manner in trying to reclaim them. I called Wesley Chun, who is the thief who took them.
Common criminal.
And quite honestly, while I have great aloha for Dr. Chun, he needs some help. He has a problem and he needs some help.
He needs a job now.
So I did speak with him. I heard a report, which I have no reason not to believe, that the banner was actually, instead of being stored in a bin, was actually sitting in his office as he spoke to me. And I heard an eyewitness report of that. I can't corroborate that it's true, but as I said, I have no reason to believe otherwise. And he told me that he would not return the banner, that it wouldn't be returned for weeks, which it wasn't. He gave me a very lengthy process. I did point out that it was taken illegally, and he knew that very, very well, although he refused to admit it. but he knew it very well that it was taken completely illegally. We had all the evidence of that, videotape, pictures, receipts, everything. Unfortunately, the very next day, well, it's fortunate that it was the very next day, but it was unfortunate for the timing for me. The very next day was May 1st. May 1st meant two things in this case. One, it was a general strike that was being called by Deoccupy Honolulu. A general strike is basically, could you explain what a general strike is? It's basically when everything's supposed to stop.
Yeah, a general strike is you don't do anything for a day. Don't work, don't spend money, don't go to the gas station, don't go to the grocery store, don't go anywhere. And it's a way to show the 1% who holds the true power in the land. It's the only reason they have power is off the backs of the working class citizens, and so you call it a general strike to remind them that they need to get their act together and that our numbers are much stronger and our needs are much greater than theirs. So you call a general strike. Don't work, don't do anything that has to do with capitalism or anything like that. Just go have fun, go hang out in a public park, go listen to music.
Yeah, they may be sitting on their butts, but they're saying that they're not going to sit still for what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. So a general strike was being called for Tuesday, May 1st, which is International Workers' Day. And there was an event in the park that had been scheduled for some time, fairly major event, at which I had committed with my word as a Hawaiian, to both Raul Gonzalez, the indigenous artist, and to the folks at Deoccupy, to bring that banner to that event as a blessing, to remind people that as part of this general strike, Kanawai Mamalahoi is a very important foundation of law that needs to be protected, and to honor their efforts to protect it. And so, therefore, I called. I needed to get the banner in order to do that, which I had given my word to do. Made my very best effort. Called Mayor Carlisle's office many times. The day before, on April 30th. Called, as I said, I spoke with Wesley Chun. I called the police. I called just about everyone, and was unable, unfortunately, to keep my word in returning that banner. Now, I have to say that while I was planning to bring that, one of the reasons it was so important for me to do that was because I was actually unable to participate in a general strike myself because May 1st also happens to be Lay Day in Hawaii. And my mother is a long time lay maker who for many years, I think at least 9 years, probably more, has been every single year making and sharing the culture of lei making at the city and county of Honolulu's Lei Day event at Kapi'olani Park every year. And basically all of her family are required to attend and participate and help, right? We go to the mountains and gather all of the native flowers and the other flowers. My mom climbs the Puakenikeni tree. My mom's in her mid-70s, but she climbs up the trees and climbs up the mountains, and we help her as best we can, although she still kicks our butt. But anyway, after all of that effort, it's not really a choice to say, oh no, we're not going to participate. So I was obligated to go down and participate in this event. Now, as a Hawaiian, I hope that people can see the position that this puts me in. On one hand, I've given my word to bring Kanawai Mamalahoe to the May 1st event there, and on the other hand, I have to be at the city and county's lay-making event down at Kapiolani Park. So, I am left with a dilemma. Am I really going to make lays and share my culture and show how beautiful Hawaiian culture is, which I absolutely don't mind doing, but to allow the city and county of Honolulu to take credit for perpetuating that culture, knowing and hearing that Mayor Carlisle was going to introduce the event personally and was going to speak at that event and was basically going to take credit for that event and use it to promote his agenda of oppression, I could not see any way that could be in any possible way pono. Therefore, what I did in order to find a peaceful resolution to this was to call at the very last minute for anyone who could come down and show that although we respected Hawaiian culture and although, I was participating in perpetuating Hawaiian culture, certainly, I have no problem sharing it with people, that we were not okay with showing just one side of Hawaiian culture while this abuse was ongoing, this very, very serious abuse by the city and county of Honolulu, and that they needed to return Kanawai Mamalahoe and Ua Mau Ke'ea o Ka'aina I Kapono to their rightful place, which were at Thomas Square. So, therefore, what we did was we gathered, and fortunately Andrew and you, Doug, and a number of people came down to Kapiolani Park. We made signs as we were making lays. We had to make lays and make signs. At the same time, when the signs were ready, we took them walking with some materials to show, that we weren't standing against the entire event or the culture that it represented, but that we did want to show that there was a problem. And so the sign said, respect Hawaiian culture, real Hawaiian culture, things like that, and called Mayor Carlisle out on his actions, which we did not feel were appropriate for a person supposedly holding even de facto power. So we walked around, we educated people, we had some good talks with folks who were interested to know what was going on. We actually got a really good reception from the lay committee and all of those things. Then Mayor Carlisle went up to speak, and he talked about Hawaiian culture and how great it was, and I actually have his speech transcribed, but I'm afraid that I may get sick to my stomach if I read it pretty bad, and how much we owe the Hawaiian culture, and those kinds of things. And so, stay healthy. And I blew a poo at a respectable distance, blew a poo conch shell to voice that there was dissent without interrupting anything. And then after he was done speaking, we went and looked for the mayor because we wanted to ask for the banner back. I was hoping that I could fulfill my word, my sacred word, and get those paintings back where they belonged in time for the event, the very important event that was about to unfold. So my only recourse in attempting to do that was to attempt to speak with the mayor. To put it mildly, I was not allowed to do so.
Almost.
Doug and I, and with you folks, right nearby, but in order not to be disruptive, only Doug and I actually went through the aisle of folks to try to reach the mayor, and we're stopped by the police and told to leave. We were told that we couldn't go through. I asked why. I did point out that he is a public official in a public place, and I'm a member of the public, last I checked, and I didn't really understand. They didn't give me an explanation for why I wouldn't be allowed to speak to him. I asked if there was a TRO or something, and they said no. They didn't even tell me that he had asked for me not to speak to him, which, honestly, if they had said that he had personally asked that I not speak to him, then I probably would have sent a message back asking when would be a convenient time, because I need to, I'm just trying to get the banner back. Right, I would have respected him, and I did respect him the whole time. I showed respect to him, I should say, yeah. And so we, we were asking questions of the officers in that manner. We were told we had to leave. We were accused of causing a disturbance, although, I don't believe that was true whatsoever. When we were told to leave, we came to a stalemate. I couldn't, they were pointing out and telling me, go that way, and there was no ethical way, especially with no explanation, no anything. There's no ethical way I could submit to an unjust, unlawful request to do so.
Request or order?
It was an order.
Exactly.
Yeah, I believe. I don't know whether it was a request or order. They didn't actually make that clear. I believe it would have been more clearly an order if they had told me, if you don't go that way, you will be arrested. However, no such thing was ever said. Nothing like that. I instead went into prayer. I lowered my head, and eventually I lowered my whole body because I didn't want to block anyone, and went into a Hawaiian prayer. They interrupted my prayer and made false accusations, which are on the video, and they're clearly shown to be false accusations on that same very video. Since that wasn't working out, and they were insisting that I leave, and some folks there who made it pretty clear that they wanted that one side of Hawaiian culture to be shown, the leis, the music, the flowers, and not anything negative or disturbing, which unfortunately is a very real part of our Hawaiian situation right now. What they did was they kind of complained to me, and so because even if I disagree with people, I want to honor the fact that they don't like something. So in order to avoid a disturbance, I moved through the aisle, through a walkway, a narrow walkway between the pews. What do you call them? Benches? Yeah, and simply sat down where other members of the public were sitting watching the event. And for that, I was arrested.
They carried you off, actually.
Yeah, they carried me off by one arm and one leg, so it twisted my back, messed up my neck. They sprained my wrist. They tried to do this rather silly and not well done, I may add. I'm not even a martial arts expert, but I can tell you right now I could have done better. Pressure point technique to try to, I don't know, basically as a torture mechanism, just to basically...
And that is on the video with 3 officers actually grabbing your arm at one time.
Yeah. So they did a pressure point thing where they pressed into the nerve in order to disable my hand from moving. So my arm was disabled for about a month. I had to go to quite a bit of therapy for that, which I really appreciate any of those officers volunteering to pay for. That would be really nice as Hawaiians, especially you Hawaiian brothers. Take responsibility like your kupunas should have taught you. Take responsibility for your actions. Yeah, and so
officially, what were the charges for record?
So the charge, which it took a very long time to get them to say, was for disorderly conduct, and apparently they're saying that I created a disturbance. When, from what I saw, I think the ones creating the disturbance were actually them.
They were. That's on the tape.
Yeah. I think it's pretty clear.
And so the thing is, and that's the thing, we have all this evidence, to support your case, and the that's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're very prepared to go to trial. We were prepared today, but again, the state was not prepared. They did not have their witnesses, any of their police witnesses show up. Not one of them did, and I did put out a Facebook request to, in case any of them are watching, or tuned in, that if they could please make sure to attend, because we really don't like to pull people down here out of their time. It costs them real money to be here when they're working and things like that. It would be much more courageous, appropriate, and fun if they would simply show up for the case, because we are very, very ready to go to trial.
Okay, when, for people watching, when is that?
That's
again?
September 19th.
Wednesday
the 19th. September 19th at 1:30 p.m.
Is it the same courtroom?
I believe so. Do you want me to actually look at the paper?
No, I think once you get up here and
you'll find
4-7, it'll be on one of these docket sheets. So.
Right.
Great. Thank you much. I guess anything to say by anyone before I go off the air?
For people that are seeing this for the first time, I'm probably the newer member or supporter of Occupy. It may seem like we're just a bunch of crazy people trying to do whatever. It really is human rights kind of thing. These remarkable people are standing up where, it's needed. People talk about, we should do this with the government. Well, they're actually putting it into action.
Yeah.
And they are we are a very peaceful group. We don't believe in shouting and swearing. We put on...
I'm sorry, my finger involuntarily was pointing toward Andy, but don't.
But, as much as possible, the only way to get our point across is to be diplomatic and peaceful. And I think we've done a spectacular job at trying to do that. And sometimes you need to take more direct action, which Andy is talent to that.
Standing up a 10 inside of HPD.
Oh man, we got we're like 17 now.
So yeah, there may be a little bit of craziness or insanity, but more than anything, remember that it takes intestinal fortitude to do these things.
Yeah,
stand up, for something that matters. I think it's worthwhile, which is why I'm supporting. And, we could use all the support we can get, like the Facebook page, send us your comments and questions, if anything, because we're not just a homeless camp, which is what a lot of people think. It really isn't. This is a stand we're taking. We're putting our foot down in a location and saying we're trying to make a change, for the betterment of humanity,
So the Facebook page is the community page, even though it's called Deoccupy Honolulu, the page is called Occupy Honolulu. Like Mike's
Occupy
detail.
with a slash.
Yeah, with a slash through it. Drive by Thomas Square.
But you keep understand. It's just that you keep remember yourself because Hawaii has a homeless crisis. How is the homeless community?
We have a homeless community.
You know, two kids I saw who they don't want ugly disgusting. What they're really saying is we don't want to see that, meaning we don't want to think of.
They don't want to see, that's true.
We don't want to think what, we don't want to think what the husband relocated. We have one vehicle who we have to the laziness,
that's
the
right.
oil, that is not true, okay? People who are homeless or homeless are people who are either crying out for help or they're in the wrong and
they're at the end of their rope.
For us to say that they're growing, it hurts me. See, I'm not homeless, but I really regard and every kid or box of people who need help. I mean,
But Mikey expresses this for a lot of us here. From what I've learned, there are only about 2,000 beds, and the city estimates, meaning there is more, about 6,000 homeless people. So at any given time,
right.
Only 2,000 of them may have some kind of help and shelter from the city. We see people hurting. They are the most underprivileged and the most unspoken for. So Mikey makes a great point, A lot of people just want to close their eyes. They don't want to see it. They just think, oh, it's a bunch of tents, a bunch of homeless people. Get them out of here. That kind of media no. It's for people that really just don't care or don't want to do anything about it. So
right.
they just stay with the general consensus. It's just Mikey.
Right.
I think that, too, I'm a supporter of the Occupy from the Kanak Maoli sovereignty movement or the independence movement. And one really important thing that I think that these folks point out very well is how occupation, the illegal occupation of Hawaii, is the cause of all of this houselessness. It's the cause of people being damaged in war. It's the cause of crazy real estate prices where people cannot afford a home, a roof over their heads because it's become a commercial industry. And basically, Hawaii is being sold to America, frankly, and specifically those with great wealth.
In case people are not aware, a single-family home can cost over $500,000.
Yep, it's 600-something thousand.
Yeah, so
a cheap
yeah.
family home.
It starts out that high. So people here can't afford it, and guess what happens? Mainlanders, other investors, they come and take over. So that's what you're saying, right? Just side note?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And there are also a number of other mechanisms that are used to deprive people of their housing. And that's how we have a houseless population. That and drugs, which are essentially a problem of oppressed people. People who are hurting so bad that they're looking to kill pain, and so they end up messing themselves up, and then they end up out on the streets. And that's, that's not okay either. We need to look at the root of that problem, which is the occupation, the illegal occupation of this land, and the exploitation of people by corporations and by government in their own interests rather than in the interests of the people.
A lot of people think that the homeless are there by choice, but I don't believe that. People who are homeless isn't because they don't get the bottom line. There are people, there are human beings who are crying for help, but they don't have they don't know where you go for help. Or they're too afraid to go to counseling or whatever. But the victims of abuse, of rape, of domestic violence, people who are with disabilities, who were discriminated and used and abused and refused housing, refused education, because they have the type of disability. Okay? Don't say that you have to go over, you have to go to the community. If we have to take care of you, we gotta go for you. But today, I haven't been divided. But I haven't been divided. So, I'm not asking for help. I'm asking to help.
Right.
Because by helping us the best way that we can get help is to help others. Because by helping others, you help yourself. By helping others, you're forgetting your own problems. You're helping them to solve their problem. Once their problem is solved, then you get back to your problem. You will find you will find that your problem of piece of cake, even more than that, I don't know what to do, but by helping others, you help them, then you come back to your own problem. You can say, oh, I know the answer, I know what I have to do, and I got the answer by helping this person, this family, this man, this woman, this boy, this girl, this brother, whoever, by helping others, you help yourself, and that's the other way around. You can never help yourself before you help others. That doesn't work. You help others, then you help yourself.
And I think that what's very important about that in this particular case is that the way in which these folks have been and those who stand for Kanawai Malahoi are helping people is not to hand out small kind help, but to really look at the root of the problem and address the illegal occupation that is causing the problem to begin with, and the exploitation of human beings and the violation of human rights that is happening, the violation of the land, the sea, the people, all of life that has been happening. And so I have to say that that's what I really, really appreciate about you folks, and mahalo.
We just hit an hour, so I'm probably going to sign out, and I'm going to do it like this so people can see it's about
Mahalo,
Occupy.
everyone.